Before this video begins, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Also, be sure to check out my affiliates down below so you can get discounts on different car mods and products. Alrighty, let's get into the drive. Hello and welcome. Today we are driving a 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. This is Jeep's first plug-in hybrid Wrangler. I would like to thank Rich Toledo over at Ocean Newport, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Give him a call for any info on these products. I just filmed a complete in-depth review of this vehicle, so make sure to check that out, currently out on the channel. And now we are going to go, I will give you a quick spec run through, and then we'll get this out on the road. So, this currently stickers for about $70,000, is finished in white, and has a red leather interior. This is a 20th anniversary Rubicon, so this has a lot of Easter eggs and touches that some of the normal Rubicons won't, including some different badging, and of course, the red leather interior, which is only present in the 20th anniversary. So, this is a two-row SUV with seating for 5. It has a curb weight of around 5,220 pounds, and a gross weight of around 6,400 pounds. This is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a hybrid system, making a combined output of 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. You may notice that is the same as the 6.4-liter Hemi V8 for the torque number, so we will check that out, see if it drives with the same type of power output. Of course, this is a Jeep Wrangler, so it has 4-wheel drive, and it is mated with an 8-speed shiftable automatic. This gets 20 mpg with 52, 34, and 49 mpgE combined. This has an estimated range of 370 miles with both the hybrid system and gas engine active, and it has a 22-mile range on all-electric power. This rides on 17-inch alloy wheels with 285 wide tires all around, and it comes with the hardtop option. This measures in at 188.4 inches long, 73.8 inches wide without the mirrors, and 73.5 inches tall. This is part of the generation of Wrangler, starting in 2018, the JL, which greatly improved safety and the interior with tech from the previous gen. This Rubicon is lifted a couple inches from standard Wranglers for being an off-road focused trim. It does have a brake-actuated LSD, and it does have sway bar disconnect. Also, it has a lot of blue tow hooks and blue accents all around to show that it is an off-road vehicle and a hybrid. Alright, for the rest of the details, go check out the full review, currently out on Radial Reviews. And also, I have my friend here with me. So over here, we are going to try something a little bit new. We're going to try a joint review as we test drive this vehicle. He is a huge car nerd, and I would like to thank him for the drone shots that you saw on screen. Alrighty, let's get out on the road. So, something first I need to name about this Jeep Wrangler. It does have a pretty interesting hybrid system because it has drive modes of hybrid, of course, electric all, but it also has something called eSave. So eSave mode differs from all other hybrid systems where you can customize it in the 8.4-inch infotainment screen over here. And what you can do there is you can actually do configuration. So you can actually select if you want the electric motor to be on or off at all. So that can actually stop you from having range anxiety because you can preserve your electric power even if you know that your gas is going down. So that is a really cool feature and something I haven't actually seen on any other plug-in hybrids yet. So for visibility over here, it's pretty good. It has some grab bars, of course, but it's nothing too bad. I wish the mirrors actually had a smaller frame. That's one thing I don't really love, but the brakes are a little touchy in here because of the regenerative braking. But overall, I think it is pretty cool so far. As you can hear, I am currently in hybrid mode, so the engine will kick in when I need it, but overall, we're actually just driving silent right now. So over here, of course, you'll see we don't have a typical speedo. We have a % power charging for the regenerative battery and braking. So there's the engine kicking in. This thing sounds like a spaceship. There's the engine. Alright, so it's a little bit of a harsh entry, or re-entry for the engine. It's not terrible, but it's definitely a little more rough than I was expecting. Right there, I jumped right up to like 3,500, 4,000 RPM. There is my favorite car on earth, a Ford Crown Victoria. Everyone's favorite vehicle. If you don't love it, you're doing it wrong. I just had to say it. I love Crown Victorias. You gotta love it, and that's an ex-cop car. No, that's a current cop car. Beautiful. Alright, sorry to interrupt, but it's necessary. Alright, so, one thing I noticed. This has a very loud engine. I'm sitting here at about 1,500 RPM. Now it kicked off, so now I'm back in hybrid only. But yeah, this is a little bit loud. It sounds like a fan is cranking a little, like just a lot when you drive this, and the engine kicks back in. I don't really love that too much yet. It's only a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. I'm surprised it couldn't idle just a little bit lower. I don't love that so far, but we will see in just a moment what it's really like more in the day-to-day driving. So let's see. I do like the 8-speed, it shifts pretty good. It's a little hesitant to shift actually, so it seems to pull all the engine power it can before it goes back into hybrid mode where you know, it runs you on electric power. This is a very loud engine. I know it's a Jeep Wrangler. I've driven Jeep Wranglers and they're moderately loud, but this 4-cylinder, just because on its own it doesn't have all that much power, it's kind of aiding, you know, they work hand in hand, they aid each other. It's a little loud for my taste. However, the wheels and tires in here are very quiet. This ride's really quiet in electric mode. It has a little bit of a whirring noise, of course, of the engine, but that's okay. But it is a little disappointing how loud this is just when the engine has to be on, because it needs to pull so much power, because I believe it has about 181 horsepower with only the gas engine. What do you think, pal? I'll keep your name quiet, but what do you think so far?
I personally think it's a pretty nice riding experience as a passenger, but I will say there's quite a bit of wind noise, probably because of all the detachable parts of this car.
I wouldn't say there's too much wind noise, actually. I haven't seen too much, but what do you think of the hybrid system, engaging and disengaging? Do you think that's really loud for the 4-cylinder on its own, or what do you think?
I will say it is quite loud. I've experienced driving a RAV4 conventional hybrid. I will say the motor is quite loud in both cars, but this definitely has a higher idle.
Okay, so this has a higher idle, but in a somewhat similar class, I guess. You can't compare a RAV4 simply with a Wrangler, but you'd say that that plug-in hybrid, it does also jump up pretty high RPMs when it needs to kick in?
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay, so you'd say it's a fair bit of noise right here. It's not anything to knock.
I think it's a fair bit of noise, yeah.
Okay, it does have auto stop start, which I just noticed, which I hate, but that's just me. I'm weird. I hate auto stop start. I don't know. I'm picky. I'm weird. What about you?
Personally, I've gotten over it, but always not having interference is preferable.
Okay. Yeah, for like jumping into traffic situations, stuff like that. What do you think of the ride so far? It's very little. Yeah, it's a little bit of wind noise, but it's a Jeep Wrangler. I do have to be fair on wind noise. It's quieter than the last generation, that's for sure. And these are with big, large tires too. 285 wide tires, big knobs, and yeah. It takes bumps okay. Not beautiful. It's not going to be a soft, cushy ride through bumps, but certainly not going to let you down going through bumps. It's a Jeep Wrangler. It's going to keep you nice and well set up there. It's a pretty easy view of the grille. It's a pretty tall grille when you're standing next to it, but it's sloped down at a good angle. So it does have functional vents, as you may be able to see in front of me. I think that's pretty cool. And then overall, it seems to be running pretty cool, so that's good. In my entire idling of, I don't know, probably 40 minutes I've had it idling because I was filming my review video. I've only gone down about 5% in the battery, and the battery is only a 22-mile range, so that's actually a very good testament to how good this battery is, even just on the earlier recharges. So I think it's pretty good so far on holding its charge. And of course, we're only going through traffic here. I will do a 0 to 60 momentarily. I just have to get to the right place, but I think it's riding pretty well. It's a little bouncy, but it's really not that bad. It's a lot better than the previous gen, which is what I have to compare it against. It's doing very well so far. And I like all the technology in here so far. You get even your battery flow inside of here, hybrid electric pages inside the infotainment system. You get power flow, so you can actually see the active amount of the battery you may or may not be using. I think you get about 71 kilowatt hour, 72 kilowatt hour battery inside of here, and currently I've just been coasting around 20, 30, and I'm getting up to, you know, 40, 50 occasionally kilowatts, but there I'm getting near the edge.
About.
Yeah. The regenerative braking isn't too intrusive. It's not that loud, not crazy, so that's good. Something I do notice, I don't know if this is in every Jeep Wrangler. The blinker, if you listen to it, I'll boost the sound. It does 2 clicks. I am not OCD, but it is driving me nuts. I cannot stand this. I don't know why it's doing twice. I don't know if it's a glitch or that's how they designed it, but I hate it with a burning passion. I'm not usually that ticked off by sounds, but this is weird. I don't hear them do like 2 types of clicks for your blinker. I don't like that.
It has a very metallic tone to it.
That too. but it has 2 is what bugs me. So I'm in all electric right now, and I'm already at 40 miles an hour. That's very good. The other plug-in hybrid I can compare this to is the Lincoln Corsair plug-in hybrid, Grand Touring, I think. And yeah, also with that I could get to about 40. This one feels a little torqueier. The Lincoln was more engaged in swapping back into engine power, but I actually like this one better because it is a little more hesitant to kick in the engine, but it's doing very well going up to like 40. That's really good. And it's a very smooth, let me just stop it for a moment. Okay, it is a really smooth re-entry with the engine. Although it goes up high for the RPMs, it really is smooth. You don't feel a big tug, a big jump, big grabbing onto the transmission, nothing like that. It's actually very smooth at, you know, shifting which one's going to be engaged, one or both. So I do like that. The gas engine re-entry is pretty smooth and good. And in a moment here, we will do a 0 to 60, assuming this can get to 60 before I have to stop, because there's a bit of a limited working room over here due to speed bumps. But let me see. So once I get over the speed bump here, as for steering, it still feels like a Jeep Wrangler. It kind of yanks you around. You feel like you're kind of a snake, but it's still better than the other gen, so that's okay. All right, so let's come to a stop. We'll stay in hybrid mode, so the engine will kick in. And let's just put our foot to the floor and see how we get up to 60. All right, it's not bad. It actually, it doesn't have a linear power band. Brakes are good, so that's good. It doesn't have a very linear power band. It's actually skewed to the right. So once you're further like above 30, 40, it starts to pull a bit harder, which is a little interesting. That might just be how the 8-speed is tuned. I mean, that makes the most sense. You need the most speed when you're up high and you really need to get up to higher speeds. That's a little interesting to me. I thought it would be more of a linear power band just because of the mix of electric and hybrid. It would, you know, just kind of pick up, but it's not exactly when the gas engine comes on either, because the engine came on earlier in the speed run. But it is pretty okay. It's not, I haven't driven the SRT 392 Jeep with the 6.4 liter Hemi. Let's go through a little bump here. That is a big bump, but it handles it perfect, so that's good. Of course, it's still great off-road and going through bumps. But for the acceleration, it didn't really impress me that much. I don't know what the timing was, probably in, I don't know, high 6s, maybe 7s, which is decent, but it might be more. But it wasn't that impressive, just because it didn't really pull that hard at any point, because it pulled harder later. So I'm not saying I wanted to pull really early, but it's just a little different than I expected. It's not bad. It's not exactly slow, but it's not insane either. So see if I stomp on it here, get the engine in, not kill the engine or anything, but that engine has a lot of noise for a little 2 liter. It does have a turbo. I'll admit it didn't really feel like it had a turbo. I don't love the power delivery on this. I understand it's missing about 100 horsepower from the 6.4, but I just don't really love the power input of it. It's not that bad, but I just expected it to be different. It is still on the quicker side for what a Jeep Wrangler is. It's very quick in the all-electric mode, but the yeah, when the gas engine kicks in, it does help, of course, when you get to higher speeds. I can get up to about 40, 45 here in the electric mode, so that's good. Any other thoughts over here so far?
So overall, from a passenger perspective, the ride quality seems pretty nice, especially for a Jeep Wrangler. And even the engine refinement, while it isn't exactly a quiet powertrain, it is definitely more refined than the Toyota 2.5 found in their hybrids.
Yeah, I really like the entry and re-entry into this. It is really smooth. I'm not saying it's quiet when it does it, but this hybrid system is very well done, very well tuned. So that's pretty good. Turning radius actually feels okay. It's very light and easy steering, so that makes it feel a little better than it actually is, but it's okay. It doesn't handle, obviously, sporty, but it handles a lot better than the previous generations. The last ones felt a little scary, honestly, when you're like turning hard and stuff like that, but this feels pretty manageable, pretty approachable, and I'm very comfortable driving this, that's for sure. I haven't driven a Jeep Wrangler very often, if at all. I've done it, I think, twice in my life, and one of which is on YouTube here. But I like this thing. It feels, like you said, it feels very refined, very complete in its packaging, and although the price is a bit high, I think the price is high at $70,000. I think MSRP is closer to 60 on these. However, this is the 20th anniversary. I'm not exactly sure where the MSRP sits on this.
I believe it was about 73 after destination.
Okay, after destination is around 73. This one's stickering, I think, closer to $70,000. So it's not terrible on that basis. It's a little much, in my opinion, just because most people don't use these as off-roaders, even though they are off-roading machines. You know, Pavement Princess, Jeep goes hand in hand. I like Jeep, but yeah, a lot of people that own them are not true Jeep people and use them as intended, which is fine. But yeah, so I think it's a little much to pay for that. It's approaching luxury levels of pricing on that. But overall, I do like this thing. It's very well refined in the whole engine setup in this hybrid system. I will try and drive a more standard Wrangler at some point as well. Maybe the 392 eventually. But yeah, for now I'm in this, and I very much like it. I think it really is a lot of technology relatively for the price. It's a Jeep, you know, Jeep definitely holds a price premium, but that's a good thing. And overall, I really do like this thing. It's very comfortable to drive, easy to drive, manageable, and I really have a nice road presence in this, I feel. Alrighty, that'll just about wrap up this POV test drive of a 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe Hybrid. I would once again like to thank Ocean Newport in Newport, Rhode Island for allowing me to both review and test drive this Jeep. Go check out the full review currently out on the channel. As always, drive with passion, and thank you very much for watching. Take care.